All right, let us stand for a moment of silent meditation, followed by the pledge. Okay, thank you. I will pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome to the Monday, April 20th, 2020 school board meeting. This meeting has been called to order. No amendments to the agenda, and that brings us to the public comment portion of our meeting. And on that note, if you are on a computer, phone, or tablet, press the chat button and send a message indicating you would like to speak. And if you are joining the meeting by phone, press *9 to indicate you would like to speak. The chair will then recognize you when it is your turn to speak, and your mic will be unmuted, and you will be allotted 3 minutes to speak. All right, do we have any? Okay. For the record, no public comments. And also for the record, for those of you who may be joining us virtually, who may not have access to the video portion of the meeting, participants present is Board Member Carol Gibson, Board Member Bart Alford, Board Member Soretta Bell, Board Member Susie Williamson, and Board Member Reggie Daniels. Also Board Attorney Tommy Reeves, IT, Mr. Isaac, and Ms. Becky Bishop, and Superintendent Shirley Joseph. All right. All right, consent agenda items. Do we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the consent agenda items.
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second. A motion by Ms. Gibson, seconded by Ms. Williamson. Will there be a need for discussion on the matter?
I had a question, but I think Mrs. Joseph explained to me, unless you want to add something to it, Ms. Joseph.
No further explanation. It was about the roll forward amendment. What Ms. Richard did, she had to redo the budget because we had some additional funds come in. We were not cutting money, but because of the amendment, she spent the money in different categories. And so that dealt with the money that were rolled forward, and she allocated how they would be spent. So what she had seen some decreases in some categories, and she was wondering, were we being cut anything? We were not being cut.
That's what I was wondering if there's going to be any repercussions, but there won't be. So thank you for explaining that.
Okay.
And one thing, Mr. Chairman, we've got on the consent agenda the minutes. There aren't any minutes on the computer, so I assume we're not actually approving any minutes on the public side unless there's some on
The minutes should be on the.
Minutes, where it says minutes, and then it'll show you minutes, because the minutes works a little bit different.
There's a clock that says view minutes.
It's not showing on this one. Now, I know you're talking about the clock thing. You got it. It's not on the, and I'm signing in the public website.
I see the minutes.
Yes, we got them on our side, but not the public side.
If they're showing up, they're supposed to be public.
Okay. I mean, if y'all see it, I guess that's,
Yeah,
Okay. All right, all in favor, Ms. Gibson? Approve?
Approve.
Or disapprove? Okay. Mr. Alford?
Approve.
Ms. Bell?
Approve.
Ms. Williamson?
Approve.
And I approve 5-0. Consent agenda approved. Items for individual consideration. Do we have a staffing table changes, 5.1?
Mr. Chair, we have no changes to the staffing table.
Okay, 5.2, personnel changes.
Mr. Chair, we have no changes to the personnel for personnel changes.
Okay, 5.3, monthly financial report.
Okay, Mr. Chair, in your packet, Ms. Floyd did the March 2020 financial summary for us. And it's basically the same format, and looking at it, our spending is in a line of what it should be. This through March, and so through March, we have used up 75% of our years. 75% of our year has elapsed. And the top part of each one of the reports, the top part is your income in that particular category, and the bottom part is your expenses. And so if you look at each one of them individually, we are basically aligned with our spending. We're not overspending. We're holding our own.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the financial report?
I'll make the motion to approve the financial report.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion by Ms. Williamson, seconded by Ms. Gibson. Need for discussion? All in favor? Ms. Gibson?
Approve.
Mr. Alford?
Approve.
Ms. Bell?
Approve.
Ms. Williamson?
Approve.
And I approve 5-0. Financial report has been approved. This brings us to the finish line. Superintendent items.
Okay, for the superintendent items, I've got several items, but they're not long. Our first thing, on Saturday, the governor announced that distance learning will continue through the end of our school year, and that means our kids will not come back for the brick and mortar schooling. They will continue, and our last day of school is May 22nd, and we do have plans to provide education to our students through May 22nd. Okay, the next thing is a biggie, is about graduation. I've been in conversation with the principal of the high school, and so he has scheduled a parent meeting for next Monday night. And if you want to know specific time, it's listed on there, it's posted on their webpage or their Facebook page. And he's going to have a discussion with the parents. And as a group, they will come to some kind of consensus and come up with a plan of how they would like to proceed with graduation. And so he has sent out communication to all the parents.
It's gonna be a virtual meeting.
It's a virtual meeting. It's a Zoom meeting, I think, and he will record the meeting and it will be posted online for the parents that's not able to attend, but it is a Zoom meeting. Okay, the next thing on our agenda, as of today, Executive Order 2091, that's Safer at Home Act, where people with these various illnesses, we were instructed to send them home, but that expires April 30th. Okay, right now, those workers are home and they're not being charged in their leave time, but after April 30th, unless the governor extends this executive order, beginning that Monday, May 4th, we will be charging leave time to those persons. We're not telling them they have to come back, but we're telling them if they're essential worker, we need them here on campus and they can't come, or they feel that they'll have to use their leave time. And also, we will continue serving lunches through the end of the school year.
Okay. All right. Mr. Reeves.
No, sir, no, unless you have questions of me.
Okay. Ms. Gibson.
Yes, I'd like to thank and express my appreciation to all of our employees, whether they be at school or else they're at home instructing the students via the distant learning. I had the opportunity to listen in on a webinar this past Friday with the Florida School Board Association, and the guest speaker was Executive Chancellor Jacob Oliva. And one of the things that struck me, and I've been actually thinking about over the weekend, was the two words, and he stressed it over and over, compassion and grace, in regards to instructing the students he was referring to. And my thoughts are that all homes are different, all children are different. We have differences from A to Z, and we really, and like one size doesn't fit all. So again, compassion and grace, along with providing the good instruction. Thank you.
Mr. Alf.
I too was able to listen in through the Florida School Board Association on Friday to hear Chancellor Oliva, and that also struck me. And that statement is coming from the Education Commissioner Corcoran concerning the compassion and grace and this whole experience. And the thing I took away from it is that no two homes have the same experience. And although some homes may have people who are there providing the instruction for the kid, then other homes do not. And again, I still go back to with this compassion and grace and looking at it in a holistic way. You ask, what does it mean? I myself think it means that we're to have compassion to what the families are going through. It doesn't mean to have simplicity and ease, in my opinion. We still should have rigor. But again, I go back to the same statement I made last meeting, that I really encourage, or I really wish, that teachers who have students who have multiple classes would sit down with the other teachers who are assigning work and see what's being assigned, so no student has a multitude of work in one day. It's not fair to the student. It's not fair to the parents. In all realistic concerning this, if you're a parent who works, who doesn't have a grandparent at home to work with the child with the work during the day, you get home at 5 o'clock. Okay, say for instance you have 4 hours of work to do and you start at 6. That's 10 o'clock ending. And if it's a younger child, that's a lot of extended time to have to think you're going to have a child be able to sit there and do all that they need to do. So again, I do ask for that the teachers will look at the workload. And I know that we've been told that the 300 minutes seat time. I presented a question to Chancellor Oliva. It wasn't answered. But again, I don't know how we can say we're having compassion and grace if the state is holding us to this level. I don't know. And I would like some clarification from DOE. Are we held to that? Because that would be 5 hours a day you're expecting a child to sit there. And other districts aren't doing it. So I would like to know from DOE, what are they viewing with this compassion and grace in this state of a national emergency, that the seat time is not counted? But again, I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying that this needs to be done with simplicity and ease. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that it needs to be workable for the students and the parents.
In regard to your question, I think they want to answer your questions. I'm not sure if you should go directly to Mr. Oliva or Andrea Messina, or in other words, they're taking the question seriously.
I specifically asked concerning the 300 minutes of seat time. Is that a requirement? And I specifically asked him, what did he recommend that we should be assigning to the students daily to work at home? What was a good number of hours that was best practices with the state?
That's a good question.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, Ms. Bell, do you have anything?
Yes, sir. I would just like to say thank you to everyone that continue to provide meals and educational needs to our students. Continue to be safe.
Okay. Ms. Williamson.
I too would like to give my appreciation to all of our staff, teachers, all of our employees. Everybody's doing their part, and that they're just working as a wonderful team. Thank y'all all so much.
Okay. All right. And likewise, I also echo what the board members were saying earlier as pertaining to the one size fit all or can't fit all model. Different kids come from different homes, and there's a lot of things, a lot of variables that are that takes place inside of the home. And I'm not just saying that from what I heard, being a kid myself, going through different things, and a lot of things occur around the house, around the clock. I'll just leave it at that. And so I think it's very important that we understand that there's a lot of variables that go on at the house. Also, I had one question for the superintendent that I promised the parent. She said she'd follow up with me tomorrow. She expects something. And so, hate to put you on the spot, but I think there was a perception that I don't know if it was the governor that said that it'll be the parents' option to be promoted or something along those lines. Can you kind of give me some clarity on that? Because I think parents kind of got mixed signals on the promotion side of things.
I think the statement was the parents in conjunction with the school personnel, but nothing is automatically. A child may be retained given just cause, but we're doing all in our power to get the child promoted. But if the child have not done anything and we've made repeated attempts and they've been failing all year, I don't think it's fair to that child to promote them. And the governor did not make a blanket statement, everybody is going to get promoted. I think the governor understands that and the chancellor understands that, but we're going to do everything in our power. Even with the seniors, there those end of course assessments, those requirements are waived, but they still have to have the GPA and the appropriate number of credits to be promoted. Did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Okay.
you.
When I heard the governor when he said that, and he said not about promotion, but parents had the right to retain their child.
Yeah.
That's what I heard about retention. I didn't hear about promotion. I heard him say that if parents were to choose to retain their child, that they could retain. And I had one more just food for thought for Miss Joseph. I can't imagine what she's going through in this daily cycle of change and how she's handling it. She's doing great. I had a retired teacher from my district pose the thought to me, and it's something that the board could think about, of the possibility of the first week that we return to school to possibly do the awards programs that we missed out on the last bit. But again, that's saying if possibly we are able to meet in that type of setting at that point, but it's something that we could think about. I mean, it would be a nice way to acknowledge students for their hard work, both academically, if they wanted to have their spring sports banquets, graduation. I mean, but again, at that point, I don't know if you're going to be able to have the people in a group of that, but just something for us to think about that I thought may be a nice way to recognize the students at the beginning of the year, to start off the year and put a closure to this year for them.
I appreciate that comment, but Mr. Alford, I'm trying to get through this year.
I know. Just something to think about, but
Yes.
In any spare time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, in
Yeah,
my
in your
spare
spare
time.
time. Spare
And we're even thinking about, we are tentatively planning summer school because we are hoping,
Right.
because like I said, we want as many students promoted as possible. But realistically, we're doing the kids a disservice if we just give it to them.
Right.
There are certain requirements we have in place, and we do have some that sort of have fallen through the cracks, and they're going to need some type of summer program. And so we're trying to figure out how we're going to work that.
And you know, with all of that, it's probably gonna be a day to day or week to week based upon how the CDC increases who could be in areas.
Yes,
So, I mean, we could have all the best wishes we want to do, but it's dependent upon how it's mitigated and how people are added to it to where you could add people to the group.
I have one little thing, and this came up during that webinar, you may have caught it, about attendance. And I'm thinking, has this been brought up at all about attendance? I don't know how you would do it, but I mean,
student attendance,
yes.
we're doing attendance, their work, their class work.
But, okay, by their classwork.
That's part of, they're being creative in doing attendance.
That's the only way I was thinking
Okay.
we could do it, right?
And with the high school, they have Google Classroom, the kids actually have to sign in every day,
Oh, okay,
okay? But it's different format for each site.
okay, because that was brought up, and that
But
was
we are
something I
doing
was.
attendance.
Okay, thank you.
And I had a principals meeting this morning, and I think we've made face-to-face, verbal, some kind of contact with all but about 5 students in this entire district.
Wow,
Wow, that's
good.
remarkable.
They're working hard, we know that. That's good.
But we've gotta have some kind of oral, face-to-face, or some kind of, and we've got the people at the school, they're working, they're being creative in contacting these parents, and we're doing that.
It's a lot of work to contact them, that's for sure.
Okay, on that note, do we have a motion for adjournment?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All right, motion is second. All in favor, Ms. Gibson,
Approve.
Mr. Alford,
Approve.
Ms. Bell,
Approve.
Ms. Williamson,
Approve.
and I also approve 5-0, meeting adjourned.